9 easy looks using the Light Scatters palette from the Light Scatters collection, which is a collaboration between Clionadh Cosmetics and I. And also Clionadh and I are doing a giveaway in this video, so stay tuned at the end of the video for how to enter. And if you want more details on this palette and the whole collection, I do have 3 other videos which I will link in the description box. So I will be doing an easy 2 eyeshadow look with each of the shades in here. So a matte shadow and then one of the shimmer shadows. And thank you to everyone who's been tagging me in their looks using the palette. It's been so fun to see all the different creative looks and all the different combinations you've come up with. So let's get right into it. Dipping into the Archeo palette, I'm going to be using Lichen, and I'm really just going to be focusing this on the outer corner. And I'm going to start off on the lid on the outer corner and then slowly work that out and then bring underneath my lower lash line. And now I'm just going to blend it out. And bring it up here a little bit and just blend, blend, blend. I'm gonna try to make sure it's even with this eye. I think that's pretty good. Picked up the center shade and I'm gonna apply it on this eye with no Shine On Shimmer Primer. I feel like when if you just want a little bit less of a full opaque application of pretty much more or less most shadows. It of course depends on the formula, it depends on the base of the shadow, but this is the result you'll get. It will be just a little bit more almost kind of diffused. And then putting down some of the Shine On Shimmer Enhancer, and I always want to make sure to tap it out so that there is not too much on, or so that it's not uneven. And I do like to wait a couple of seconds before I go in. So same brush, center shade, and I'm gonna take that and just put it all over on top. I think I would have used a larger brush for this since on both eyes, since I am covering a larger area. So here's the difference in application with just dry application with a brush and on top of the primer. Generally speaking, if you do prefer to use your finger to apply shimmer shadows, you will get a much more opaque look that way as well. So here's the finished look. Look, I'm going to be dipping into the Paleo palette. I'm going to be using Fossil. And this has a little bit more, this has a slightly plummier kind of color to it, and I'm starting it on the outer corner, and then I'm just going to be slowly working it outwards and then a little bit onto the about like halfway into the inner crease, but very slowly, just whatever's left on the brush, and then just working it outwards. And I will take some setting powder and just go over the edges. Picked up the bottom right shade and I'm just going to put that essentially all over the lid. But I'm not going to bring it up too high. I'm just going to keep it a little bit lower. And then a little bit out here just to make sure to blend it into the brown. And here's the finished look. Going in with this Light Scatters Brush Bundle brush. And I'm picking up Tectonic from the Paleo palette. And I'm going to do an eyeshadow wing. So I usually like to just start it out on my lid and then slowly bring it in about halfway. Sometimes a little further, but usually about halfway in. And then I'm going to bring it underneath my lower lash line as well. And then I'm just going to wing it out, and I'm just going to use whatever's on the lid to help kind of blend it out. This way I have a little bit more control on like how far it can blend out. Essentially I'm just smudging whatever pigment is already down on my skin. And then I'm just gonna kind of further blend it out, and I want to thicken it up just a little bit, and I'm gonna go back in with a little bit more, and I'm gonna take that only up against my lash line, putting on the Shine On Shimmer Shadow Enhancer and tapping it out just a little bit. And I picked up the very first shade, and I'm just gonna use this to basically highlight the pretty much the whole lid except for the outer corner. And I'm going to bring this up a little bit higher above my crease. I do want this highlight up here so that when I open my eye and my hood relaxes, you can still see the sparkle there. And here's the finished look. For the next look, I'm going into the Oceano palette, and I'm going to be using this shade. I'm going to be using the Sigma Beauty E27 brush because I'm going to be packing the shade all over my lid. So it's just going to go all over, and then I'm going to slowly bring it up into the crease once I have covered the lid. And then we're going to layer the green shade from the palette over that. Just a little bit here, and then also up against my lash line. And then just blending it out a little bit on this outer corner. And I picked up the bottom left shade on my finger, and I'm just gonna tap it all over that area where I put down the matte. Here's the finished look. For the next look, I'm dipping into the Archeo palette. I'm going to be using this blue shade, and I'm going to create a halo eye. So usually with a halo eye, you definitely use more than one matte shadow. So for this look, I'm really just going to focus it first, the most pigment on the outer corner and my inner lid. And I'm going to kind of pack it down. This is the Makeup Shack T63 brush. So I'm focusing on putting that first down, bringing it underneath my lower lash line a little bit. And then I'm going to wipe off this brush, and I'm actually going to pick up some setting powder. And I'm just going to go over the edges of that and slowly blend it up. So this way I'm essentially kind of lightening the shade, and I'm just kind of helping it blend out without adding any more pigment, adding another shade. But of course, usually you would use a lighter blue to blend this out, but I'm really trying to make this like an easy 2 eyeshadow kind of look. I'm going to go in with just like the smallest amount up here, and I'm going to take just a little bit more out here as well, just a tiny bit, just a tiny bit. And then in the center of my lid, I'm going to put some Shimmer Shadow Enhancer. And I picked up the center top shade, and I'm just going to pop that in the center. It does have a yellow base in it, so it's essentially kind of look really yellow in the center. And then the blue is going to be obviously the matte blue. So it's kind of like a little bit of a different kind of halo eye. Here's the finished look. Prime with the Ulta Beauty eyeshadow primer, and I'm going to be going into the Dash palette, and I'm going to be taking the shade Antidote, and I'm going to take this darker side of it. Then this is using the Rephr 01 Mini, and I'm just going to put that, starting it off on the outer corner and then bringing it into my crease. And it's just going to be the shade. I am taking some setting powder on a clean brush and just going over the edges. And I'm picking up this shade, no primer, just applying it with a finger, pretty much all the way on the lid. And here's the finished look. For the next look, I'm going to be using this mauve shade from the Dollhouse palette from Cosmetics. I'm just using the blending brush from the brush set, from the Light Scatters brush set, and I'm just blending it underneath, outer corner, underneath as well here, and then bringing it inwards, and just kind of taking it all the way around. Putting on some of the Shine On Shimmer Enhancer, and as always, just tapping it out. Picking up this shade, and I'm just gonna put it all over the lid, essentially. I should have probably went in with a larger brush, since I'm not really being too specific with the placement. Just gonna go all over the lid, and so the pink plays off of the mauve tone essentially. Here's the finished look. For the next look, I'm dipping into the More Mattes palette from Viseart, and I'm going to be picking up this orange shade on this What's Up Beauty R111 brush. I wanted something that's a little bit more pointy and a little bit thinner. And I'm going to use this to create like a thicker eyeshadow wing. So I'm going to be bringing it up into my crease just a little bit. And then I'm going to bring it down and kind of blend it into the lid section of the outer corner. And I'm going to bring it underneath my lower lash line as well. And I'm just going to add a little bit more. Since this brush kind of doesn't really cover a large area, it kind of just like disperses it a little bit by little bit. So otherwise I would have used a different brush. And then I'm going to use my pinky, and I'm picking up this center bottom shade. And it's going to go all over the lid. It would be great if my camera would focus on what I'm trying to do. And I'm just smudging it into the orange. Going back in with this brush and no extra shadow. I didn't pick up any more. I'm just going to feather it out here, making sure there's shimmer shadow. And I'm taking this Light Scatters Collection brush, and I'm just going to take it on this side and make sure to blend the shimmer shadow up into my crease. And here's the finished look. I'm gonna be dipping into the Archeo palette from Clionadh, and I'm only gonna use the shade Fragment. And that's just gonna go through my crease. And then I'm just gonna kind of blend it outwards here on the outer corner. I'm gonna take a little bit of my setting powder and just go over the edges. Next, taking the Shine On Shimmer Shadow Enhancer, I'm gonna put it all over the lid, and I'm gonna do one eye at a time because it does dry down quite a bit. So by the time you get to the other eye, there is a potential, depending on how fast you apply your shimmers, that it will already set down. And I do like to wait just like a couple of seconds in between. And I'm just gonna grab the shade right here. I'm gonna use my finger because I'm trying to cover a large area at a time. So the brushes from my collection are very detailed. And I'm just kind of, you can either tap it on or swipe it on. And I'm just gonna put that all over the lid. And then I'm gonna take the slightly fluffier flat brush, and I'm just gonna go over the edges of that to make sure there's no harsh line. And that's the look. So I hope this video was helpful to show you the variety of different looks you can create with the palette that are super easy, just like one matte in the crease or outer corner, or an eyeshadow wing with it, and then a shimmer on the lid with each of these shades. So let's get into the details on how to enter the Light Scatters collection giveaway. You will win the entire collection, and it will be shipping from Clionadh Cosmetics. So the way to enter is to comment down below which look is your favorite, and also make sure that you are following me and Clionadh Cosmetics on YouTube as well as our Instagram. And the winner will be pulled on January 3rd, 2025, and you will be contacted by Clionadh Cosmetics. And it is open internationally to all the countries that Clionadh Cosmetics ships from their website. I'm really excited to hear what your favorite look is. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.